Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So happy you'd be here with me today. Thank you. I just want to say I appreciate all your comments, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, all the energy that you give to watching the show. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, we're here today to do a reading for the Divine Feminine, and I always get excited about that because it's like, hanging out with the girls and stuff and getting weird and, just having a good time. And I just want to be honest with you. I was sitting here kind of like not thinking of nothing, and this card was turned upside down. And I'm like, wonder what that is. So I turned the card over already and saw what it was. And I just want you to know that. Now I'm going to show you, ladies. It is the scribe, or in the regular tarot would be the page of air. And it is about keeping records. And, it's not about bias or anything. It's about research, learning new things, looking things up in the library. So this is for a Divine Feminine out there who is very much into information. And it doesn't matter what kind of information it is, whether it's spiritual information, whether it's worldly information, whether it's material information, how to build something information, research on learning about history information. The information itself is all that matters. And not only that, this represents somebody who wants the information in different views. So, like, when he goes to read about this information, or she, even though that has a divine masculine kind of way, right? Wants to read maybe 2 or 3 different kind of books from 2 or 3 different kind of authors to get 2 to 3 different kinds of perspectives before they themselves make up their own mind. And so this, to me, is a very interesting card. It's also about keeping a diary and journaling your life on this planet. And you will be so grateful you did, because as you look back over time, you will be able to see that. Now, I myself have had spaces in my life where I have kept journals and stuff, but because I've traveled a lot and not with preparation, I have lost many of my journals, okay? But as far as what I have at this point in time, I have all my journals from the last 8 years. And, there's been times when I wrote a lot, especially when I was alone or in pain or hurting. I wrote down a lot of stuff, and I wrote down my downloads, and I wrote down the things that, I felt like I might want to look back on someday. But even I myself have not been writing as much lately as I should. And this is a reminder to me about my diary and my journey that's on this planet that I will want to look back over perhaps when I'm older. It also says pictures and, keep your journals, have your happy book, where you look back through and it's full of these things that you've overcome and went through, and overcome them, and pictures of your kids while they were little in their most vulnerable moments, beautiful. And, you want to keep this book of life. Right? And this is what it said, because I just got done reading it not too long ago. Okay, so I wished I'd have known all that in one word, in one, without reading, but I didn't. And this is from the Gaia Dreams. It has different interpretations than your regular tarot, but I thought it very beautiful to keep a diary of your life, a journal, a book of life. And basically that's what it said. And that's just such a beautiful beautiful thing, isn't it? To record your life in your own handwritten writing. And it said it's best to write it out by hand, to practice that writing. And yeah, I have notebook after notebook because I haven't had a computer, so all mine are down on notebooks, and I have a statue full of them, and I can see the progress and stuff that I have made over the last 8 years since I've been able to hold on to these journals, which I'm so grateful for, because not journals, just notebooks. I just use a notebook like this, and then, no doubt, this is my latest one. See, as you can see, I write quite often, and I love writing, but I still feel a little guilty now after hearing this, because I don't think I write often enough. And, to write down our experiences, whether they're mystical or whether they're physical or emotional, it doesn't matter. You want to put them down on paper, and when you go back to that, it will, you'll have that nostalgia, Six of Cups, those hopefully wonderful warm feelings. Sometimes, though, if you go back to those memories, you might find them bittersweet, but you realize if it wasn't for the bitter, things wouldn't be so sweet, right? And so that's the way life is. It's good in one hand and bad in the other. But in that other hand that's bad, we understand so much more about ourselves and those around us, and then it gets better. And that's the beautiful thing about life. If it was all good all the time, we would not learn nothing. We'd be little balls of mush, right? No strength, no courage, no fire. So, that ain't gonna be no fun. That's why we have to have strong, when those things come into our life that we need to write down, they make us strong mentally, and our heart. The most important muscles that a person can have is a good mind and a good heart. And you can't stop that person. Even if they're in a wheelchair, a mind and a heart will move shit. It will move stuff. That's right. And so this is about journeying, writing down your life journey, and have something to hand down to your children too. They're going to read about it, and they're going to be like, wow, it'll be pretty awesome. And you'll be so proud of yourself that you have. Now, Divine Feminine, I don't know how this, come up like this, but this is what the Spirit called out. This is what was laying here. And so we're going to go. And a lot of us have had some really awesome adventures in life, right? I mean, awesome adventures. I remember as a child, and I need to write this down. When I was like 8 or 9 years old, I already had like 3 nephews and 4 or 5 brothers and sisters that were all younger than me. And I used to take them along the river on the creek, and we would literally, I would have a lighter too, because I already smoked then. I lived in tobacco country, Indiana and Kentucky, in between there. And my parents moved all the time. So I was like one of those roughneck kids, kind of pouty and a little angry. But I forgot even what I was going to say, talking about the kids. Oh, yeah. Would have a lighter with me, and we would start a fire, and I would feed all those kids. We'd catch those crawdads, right? Crawfish, you call them. And I'd wrap them up in leaves and stick a stick in there and peg it to the ground and start a fire around them, put the fire in the center and wrap those things up and cook them for the kids right there on the creek. Now, they were creeks because it never got over waist deep, and my parents and my oldest sister, whom was with my nephews, We're backwoods. You'd let the kids roam. Hell, you didn't really want them in the house, right? Messy little shits. And that's the way I was raised. I got to where I would do rock fishing. I could stick my hands up under rocks and pull fish out. By the time I was 11, 12, and 13, I could feed a crew. And generally, I had one hanging out with me too. And it was awesome. And I need to write that down because there were times when it was kind of terrifying sticking my hand up under those rocks. But I remember thinking about everybody that was watching me, and I didn't want nobody to think I was scared. So I just do what I had to do, And I was the oldest of my sister was already 22 when I was born. So I was the oldest of the next level of children. Yeah, I was 7 of fire. Courage, faith, and fear. Yeah, you face it. You face any kind of fear that you have. That's how you become a tiger. And we say a lion, but you know what? The lion, he lays around all day. He lets those female lions bring him all back that food. He just thinks he's a king and he's got all those females to choose from. Oh, hell no, I'm a tiger. We're tigers. We don't play that game. And we don't ever lay around. We're constantly moving, right? That's what a tiger does. Always going through the jungle, prowling, climbing trees, going down. If a lion and tiger ever met, the tiger's going to kick his ass. I'll be a tiger any day, right? So we face courage facing fear like a tiger. We know that we're going to scratch our way out of it. Yeah, we're going to scratch our way. We're going to walk that tightrope, and we're going to do what we need to do to take care of our families. And that's funny, this just feeds back into me taking care of my little brothers and sisters, while the adults were doing whatever they wanted to do. Although I will speak for my big sister, she worked every day of her life. So my big sister is not included into the other people, adults in my family. In fact, she was my mom. And I loved her, and I still love her. And we call her Boozy. She's still alive to this day. If she's ever watching on this channel, I love you, Boozy. I love you to this day. I love you all my life. And she raised me, and I was already a wild child when she got her hands on me, so there wasn't too much she could do about it. And courage facing fear is just mind over matter, because more than likely, once you begin, you ain't going back, and you're going to be able to face whatever it is that you're investigating and trying to find. So, or whatever it is that you're searching or striving for, Divine Feminine. And you will make sure that your family is watched over and taken care of. And that's just what we do, ain't it? Even from a youngest age. We know that innately. It is in us. It is in us innately. We just know what to do. Even if nobody was around telling us what to do, as people, as humans, we basically know what to do innately. And that's with all of life too. Sometimes we're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, you do. You do know what you're going to do. You know. And if you don't know, you know that if you go and sit down for 5 minutes alone and take a few deep breaths, that you'll figure it out. And you know that too. Moon time, water Amazon daughter. Yeah, if you go get you some alone time, you'll know what you need to do. And we always do. We always do. The world coming full circle. So maybe at this time, the outside world could be maybe intruding into Divine Feminine's And if that's the case, then quit watching the outside world. It's an illusion. Courage facing fear. It won't be long that the outside world will somewhat fade into the background. Things are changing pretty quickly now. People's hearts are changing. Their minds are changing. Well, here we go. The death of the old and the rise of the phoenix. And then people are realizing how important family are and loving. This is the moon child that's sitting there that they're holding on to so tenderly. The sweet, soft, gentle light of the moon. The soft, sweet, gentle light of the moon child, which was a prophecy, you know. It might even be the Christ child they're talking about. Everybody waiting for that sweet moon child to come along. That's going to make a new collective consciousness. And it will be an A. It's an A. We already know what to do. We know where we're going. It's an A. We all know it. We feel it. There's a change, even in the last week, right? In the energy. Yeah. In the web. There's been a change somewhere in the web. And we have regeneration, earth regeneration here, where the people, you know, are becoming more fertile, more abundant, more loving and kind and gentle, right? And it's only in little pockets at this time. But this is going to spread like a disease, okay? And God has told me this. God has told me this. It is going to spread. It is going to come full circle to where the people's hearts, that there's a new blueprint on this planet for people and children. Even our babies that are being born now are born with a new innate blueprint of consciousness, a beautiful consciousness. Treat your children well. Treat your children like they're angels, and beat their ass when they need it like they're little devils. Okay, I'm sorry, but you teach them, you teach them the difference between right or wrong. And no, don't beat their ass. You do it your way. But my mama beat my ass, and I beat my kids' ass. Okay, I never hurt them. They never went to the hospital, and I always made sure I hit them on the ass. But you know what? My mom taught me not to run from anything, and let me tell you how she taught me, and I love her. She would make me go pick my switch and bring it back. And then I'd have to take my spanking, because if I run, she'd go pick a switch and she'd catch me. And she'd let me run as long as I run. But she's still going to be beating my ass. No, I was mad about that for a long time, okay? But when I hit the streets and lost everything, I realized that my parents treated me like that was the best thing they could do. They taught me to be tough, strong, enduring, resilient. They taught me to know the difference between standing there and facing all hell, no matter what was coming at me, and the difference between running and hell on fire coming at me, okay? So if you're going to face hell, you best face it head on. Don't run from it. And go ahead and fight, right? Right. We don't run from hell. We face it, and we clean it out, and we turn it into heaven, right? Right. Right, Divine Feminines? We don't run from hell. We don't run from trouble. We face it. Yeah. Just like that. 9 of air. And I'm going to have to read this. But this reminds me of the Hyoka, of the indigenous Indian tribes, whom help all the people to lift up and understand their purpose on this planet. They're foolish. they're silly, and they're brutally honest, and they help people heal, to see things they don't normally see. And so we're going to go over here, and I'm going to find this, and we're going to look for the 9 of air. 5 of air, 9 of air. Here we go. Prayer flags of flying. Prayer flags flying. Send prayers of peace out into the world on wings of joy when we need it most. Greet each new day with prayers from your heart. Stretch your arms wide like a bird spreading her wings, and let your spirit soar. If this card, well, we didn't get a reverse. So number 9 is the synthesis of 3 rounds of creative spin in the air element. Notice how your perspective shifts with this approach to your inquiry. The sheer expansiveness of joy opening your heart to connect with yourself and others transcends the troubles of the world and allows you to cope with difficulty more constructively. So it's asking you to experience joy, that you have reverie moments where you can look back and talk about things that bring you great joy, which my mom, or my fishing expedition with my brothers and sisters, these things I can laugh at now. I think that they're awesome. They were adventures. My mom taught me how to be strong. I love her. I appreciate the experience of learning to be strong in a world that eats a lot of people up, right? And so we want to be strong. We want to be trained to be strong, and we want to train our children to be strong as well, and not to run from trouble, to always tell us the truth, to be honorable little children, so that the universe will honor them, because they're keeping universal laws, and we want to teach our children that, right? Right. Always. Always. Okay. So prayers of joy out on the air, joy. Joy in your life, joy in your family, joy in your children. We need to take this joy. And all of a sudden the thoughts came to me, that there are people right now who are suffering with their families in horrible situations. And we could offer up goodwill and prayers to those who are not allowed to live the life of freedom with their families, their children, their brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, grandmas, grandpas. They don't know if they're going to get, the things that we have. America's not the greatest place in the world, but at least we don't suffer being in a place where we're not wanted. It is our place, and that's a wonderful thing. So we want to pray for all those who are out there, and this is a beautiful reminder of the beautiful things that we have in our lives. Our lives. We might not be free from hearing of wars, but praise God, there's not war on our land, right? So now, with that being said, we're going to turn it into something new. And I like this. I'm going to take this card right here. The Empowerer, the dreamer of the dream, riding above the collective consciousness, you see. This would be the creator, the creators of consciousness. This would be a higher creature, higher being, riding on the waves of the clouds, creating a beautiful existence for itself, but dreaming a dream for the whole world. Yeah, dreaming a dream for the whole world. Many dreamers are dreaming the dream for the world now. Many dreamers are dreaming the dream. Many people at this time are becoming so enlightened they are somewhat Illuminati like. Um, the dreamer of the dream controls the dream, right? That one with the most high collective consciousness works in the dream world and in the spirit world, creating the dream. That's so beautiful. Working in the dream world, the spirit world, working with the creator to create the dream. I mean, you got to be on this earth to know how you want the dream to be. It only makes sense that creator would connect with divine feminine and to give birth to a new collective consciousness, since she is the birth giver of new life form, right? And who but the mother knows what the children and the household needs in order to have what would keep everything abundant and flowing a plenty. And so divine feminine, God's saying, dream your dream and dream it into existence. Peace on earth, goodwill to our children, perfect educations, right? All knowledge available to all. Each and every one with a good home. The sacred paths of the Hierophant. In this deck, we call it sign language, or number 5, sacred paths. Yeah, the dreamer of the dream is sacred. And dreaming the dream, climbing that ladder, that ladder upward is no easy task, because you got to leave behind the material world, meaning that faith and hope and trust in the divine power becomes more stronger than anything that you could ever want materialistically. And you begin dreaming a concrete world. You see that? Coming right out of your mind, manifesting while you're right here watching. Wow, this is an awesome reading, powerful for the world. This is big time, big. That's why God said, write your dreams down, write down your visions, write down your experiences, hold on to them, because you're going to look back in 10 years and you're going to be like, wow, because the world is changing. It's going to be a different place. And we're going to be on a different timeline. That's what I'm getting out of that. A new timeline. The geometrics of it all. Geometry. Yeah. Alchemy. What is it? Just, the mixture of the spirit with the mind and the ability of humanity to connect to the ethers, to the other world, to the other side. I hope I didn't turn these cards upside down. Let me see. Well, maybe only one. Well, we're going to see from here. But this right here, Divine Feminine, means you are the leader of your life. That you can make and plan your life. And while you do, make sure you document the history of where you've been and where you're going, right? For posterity's sake, to hand down to your children, your grandchildren. Okay, I'm going to draw one more card. This is all very, very beautiful. You know, courage facing fear, sending up prayers of joy and love and peace and goodwill to all the creatures of the earth. Coming full circle with all creatures of the earth. The Empowerer dreaming the dream, and the Hierophant bringing it to be in the material world. The change, 5 means change, but the Hierophant is over contracts. So the spiritual world has a contract with you over this. Yeah. That's the Ace of Cups, love. And the Ace of Earth in the material, spiritual in the material, bringing it down, baby, bringing it down. Okay, I said I was going to draw one more card. Let's see. The Air Matriarch. Recycling ancient wisdom coming from above. Times are changing, the world is changing, we're evolving. Finally, humanity is evolving into our next phase of life. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Right, Divine Feminine? It's a beautiful thing. I love you. I love you so much. Keep on doing what you do. And don't forget to, God says continue to do what you do, but don't forget to be the scribe. Write down and document your life, your changes, what you went through, what you expect, and what happens. You'll have a bestseller, right? Okay, I love you, Divine Feminine. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. Bye-bye.